The highly anticipated showdown between Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua is finally on the horizon. And it's not just another fight, it's the Battle of Britain. The stakes are enormous, with a jaw-dropping $100 million waiting for each fighter, courtesy of Turki Al-Sheikh. But is it really the fight fans have been waiting for? Once considered the top two heavyweights in the world, Fury and Joshua are now shadows of their former selves. The truth? This fight will settle who is the best between them, but not who's the best in the UK. The real British heavyweight champions might just be Daniel Dubois and Martin Bacol. Even young Moses Itama, just 20 years old, might outshine these two veterans. What happened to Fury and Joshua? They're past their prime, and this fight might feel more like a celebrity match than a true championship battle. It's almost heartbreaking. These two giants could have fought 7 years ago when they were in their prime, when the division was buzzing with excitement. But now at 34 and 35 years old, are they still capable of the same magic? Tyson Fury, who's now riding a 34-2-1 record, could be ready to call it quits. After his bitter loss to Alexander Usyk in December, he's in denial, convinced that he did enough to win. But the truth stings. If Fury decides to retire rather than face Joshua, it could be the end of a legendary career, and that decision might stem from his bruised pride. Fury's emotional nature could make this even more dramatic, and fans might never see him step into the ring again. But if Fury does come back, it won't be easy. He might be the favorite against Joshua, but Joshua isn't the same fighter anymore either. The former champ, 28-4, 24 KOs, was brutally knocked out in 5 rounds by Daniel Dubois in his last fight, looking almost unrecognizable. His punch resistance has been shattered, and if Fury can land clean shots on Joshua, will he survive? Joshua's power is no joke, and if he catches Fury with the same type of right hand that knocked out Francis Ngannou, it might be all over before Fury can even react. What happens when two heavyweights past their prime meet in the ring? Fury might struggle to avoid Joshua's ferocious punches the way he did with Wilder or Klitschko. The question on everyone's mind, can Fury take Joshua's power and keep on going? Will Joshua's relentless aggression crush Fury, or can the Gypsy King weather the storm? If you're not afraid of a little controversy, subscribe to Glove Goals because your finger won't fracture from a click. The long-awaited, much-debated fight between Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua is on the horizon. For years, boxing fans dreamed of this British showdown, but for one reason or another, it never happened when it mattered most. Both fighters, now coming off defeats, find themselves at a crossroads. So how big will Fury versus Joshua really be? Let's break it down. Tris Dixon puts it bluntly. Big, but not as big as it could have been. This fight could have been massive when both Fury and Joshua were champions at the peak of their careers. But instead, we're left with a matchup between two fighters who've lost their shine. Dixon laments, "It's pathetic we couldn't get something like this done when it mattered most." Kieran Mulvaney, on the other hand, says the fight is still biggish, but calls out the reality. It's Usyk's stage now, and all the rest are merely players. He adds that while Joshua has had a solid career, his avoidance of the real rivals, Fury and Wilder, could hurt his legacy, even if he finally faces Fury. Lucas Cattell offers a unique angle, suggesting this might actually be more intriguing now. They're both coming off failures, he says, and watching how these fighters face their demons might be even more captivating than the fight itself. It's a battle of redemption, Cattell suggests. Matt Christie sees the fight as huge, but admits it's lost some of its luster. It'll still be a gargantuan event, particularly in the UK, he says. Yet the location is key to boosting its appeal. If it happens in Saudi Arabia, he warns, it would feel like a waste. Declan Warrington acknowledges that the fight may not be as massive as it once could have been, but it's still a big draw. It's still an appealing fight, he says, even though both fighters are no longer at their prime. Elliot Wursel sees the fight as more of a kick in the teeth for hardcore fans. He questions the timing, especially if the fight ends up in Saudi Arabia. What's the point, he asks, and that's a question a lot of fans are pondering. Owen Lewis, however, sees the potential for this fight to still be huge, despite the disappointment over the long delay. With Usyk clearly holding the crown as the heavyweight champion, the thirst for a spectacle might still make this fight irresistible, even if it doesn't determine the true number one. Jason Langendorf wraps it up with a sobering thought. Fury AJ is essentially a regional version of Floyd Mayweather Jr. versus Manny Pacquiao, he says. It's a fight with little meaning, but it'll still make money. So with all these mixed opinions, we ask, will Fury and Joshua ever be able to capture the magic they once had? Or is this fight doomed to be a fading echo of what could have been? Don't miss out on the latest updates. Subscribe to Glove Goals, because your finger won't fracture from the click. Anthony Joshua's journey in boxing is about to take a dramatic turn in 2025. After a crushing knockout loss to Daniel Dubois in September, most would expect the Watford powerhouse to step back and rebuild, but not Joshua. He's hungry for more, and according to his promoter, Eddie Hearn, he's diving straight back into the deep end. There's only 2 fights we're interested in: Daniel Dubois rematch and Tyson Fury, Hearn said, speaking to IFL TV. Joshua's confidence is unwavering. He's gunning for a shot at becoming world heavyweight champion once again. But the question is the Fury fight still as massive as it could have been? According to Hearn, it's the biggest fight in boxing, despite both men coming off recent defeats. There's no bigger fight in boxing. A Jay versus Fury is the biggest fight in the sport, period, Hearn boldly declared. But here's the twist. Tyson Fury, after his second loss to Usyk earlier this month, may not even be thinking about returning to the ring just yet. He's still pissed off, Hearn admits, and he'll go spend time with his family before deciding what's next. And while Joshua and Dubois were originally on track for a rematch, those talks have collapsed. Dubois wanted to fight in February, but Joshua's still nursing some injuries. So with that fight off the table, what's next for Joshua? The clock is ticking as Joshua eyes a return in late spring or early summer of 2025. Hearn confirms he's not in full training yet, but he'll be ready to resume by January. The big question still looms, though. Will it be Fury across the ring, or is there a twist in the tail? For now, the heavyweight division is in limbo. Joshua has 2 clear targets: Dubois and Fury. If the Fury fight doesn't materialize and if Dubois isn't ready, Joshua might have to face someone else. But let's be real. Boxing fans are hoping for one thing and one thing only: Fury versus Joshua. Hearn sums it up perfectly. If AJ gets Fury on his resume, he's boxed virtually everybody of his era. So will 2025 be the year Anthony Joshua finally faces Tyson Fury? Or will the fight slip away once again, leaving fans frustrated and wondering what could have been? What happens when 2 of Britain's biggest boxing stars collide? And does AJ have what it takes to redeem himself? Don't miss any updates on this thrilling saga. Subscribe to Glove Goals, because your finger won't fracture from the click.